Hello again, this is Professor McCartan with another topic. Let's talk about measurement and scaling. When you rank something on a scale from 1 to 10, that's an example of scaling. It's the lesson we look at when we're explaining some form of scaling characteristics and how to measure those scaling aspects. And we do this very much so in market research. So when I talk about scaling, I like to share with you guys, I just went to the doctor's the other day and I received a survey from a text message that said, one, I was unsatisfied, or two, I was somewhat satisfied, three, on the fence, four, satisfied, and five, highly satisfied. So they wanted a scale of 1 to 5. So I went ahead and texted a number back to give them that scaling. So this happens quite often. You see it everywhere. Customer comment cards, online surveys, that pretty much are asking you to relate something to what was going on within the service you received. And a lot of times you'll see scales from, as you see in the picture, an unhappy to a happy face, to a 1 to 5, or even a scale from a 1 to 10. So why, as marketers, do we kind of have this fascination with scales is because we can use the statistical analysis on a qualitative rating like unsatisfied. In order to do an analysis, you have to kind of convert that qualitative data into quantitative data. In other words, a number. So scales help us put those thoughts, feelings, and opinions into some form of measurable form. Scaling is assessing objects to a number. So researchers like to use scales because the questions are easy to ask and you can ask them in different formats. Measurement, though, is the process of collecting and recording the results or observations. The type of scales that are directly affects which type of statistical analysis can be used from the results that you have. So we look at how scales work. Scaling can be comparative. When one object is compared to another, or non-comparative, where only one object is evaluated. Non-comparative scaling is the most frequently used in marketing research. When you refer to using scales, how the numbers relate to an assigned attribute, like 1 equals male, 2 equals female, is known as the level of measurement. There are four characteristics that we look at to define the levels of measurement: description, order, distance, and origin. The attributes are known as description. The order of the descriptors refers to their relative value. For example, when you use descriptors greater than or equal to, this would have some form of relative value to each other. Not all scales possess order characteristics, though. Distance on a scale refers to the distance between the descriptors and the distance it usually expressed in units. Scales that have a fixed starting point or true zero and said to have no origin in that aspect. So two examples with origin characteristics would be a thermometer, 0 degrees, or a family income scale of $0. Origin is the highest level characteristic of a scale, and description is the lowest level of characteristics. So as the scale has an origin characteristic, it will have also have some form of distance, order, or descriptor. Think of the thermometer there. Though when we look at, you can also have a scale with descriptions that may not have a higher characteristic as well. So when we're assessing numbers, there are four common methods of assessing numbers on a scale. You have the nominal. It's the simplest method and is used to categorize data without an order and with no distance between data points. So 1 equals yes, 2 equals no. An ordinal scale ranks the things along a continuum of characteristics, say from best to worst. This kind of scale is very common in market research. An ordinal scale can be balanced or unbalanced. A balanced scale has a midpoint and an equal number of choices above and below. A 5-point scale is the most popular, and an unbalanced scale is unevenly weighted and typically has a missing midpoint. An interval scale has equal units of measurement, equal distance between each unit. Measuring temperature is an example of using an interval scale. A ratio scale is not often used in market research, though. This is more used in weight, lengths, and times. You also learned about a Likert scale. And a Likert scale is a very popular form of non-comparative scales when you are looking for measuring attitudes. This is the scale where you see the statements and you're asked to strongly agree, agree, be neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. The wording may change sometimes, but is the basic format. Market research like these because of the questions and because they're simple to pretty much administrate and to have an understanding and a conclusion from the Likert aspect of giving the ability of strongly agree versus strongly disagree. So when we look at scales, we look at the fact that they are used frequently in market research because they help to convert qualitative, so thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and information into quantitative data, numbers that can be statistically analyzed. You create a scale by assessing some form of object that could be a description to a number. Measurement is collecting the results and recording them. Scales can be either comparative or non-comparative. The levels of measurement on a scale are the descriptors, order, distance, and origin. You can assign the numbers and a scale thought to the nominal, ordinal, or interval methods. One very common form of non-comparative scaling is used in market research is the Likert scale, which is probably what you'll pretty much find that you'll use in your marketing research project in this course. Well, until next time, this is Professor McCartan. Take care.